defensive end Everson Griffen to the Detroit Lions. This is what the Cowboys need to do. They are rebuilding. They just don't want to admit it. This is a sign that they went and got a conditional 6th-round pick. It's not a great pick, but at this point, Griffen's not a great player, but he can help Detroit situational and a pass rush. It's interesting about this, and I've talked about it a lot this week, is that if you look at the NFL every year, and this is the kind of stuff I sit on and look at the internet all day, and I have for years, there's always one quarter of the league, about 8 teams, that I think are in Super Bowl bubble. They have a chance. They may not be perfect. They need a break or two. And then I always feel the exact same number of teams, 8 teams, are rebuilding. And between that's 16 teams, that's half the league. The other half of the league is just okay, average, or slightly below average. But there's usually 8 teams that should be favored and could win the Super Bowl if they stay healthy and maybe get a break. Baltimore gets a break and Kansas City gets knocked out. They don't match up particularly well. And there's 8 teams that are rebuilding. The key is the teams at the top usually know they're good because you're beating everybody. The teams at the bottom sometimes think they're better than they are, and they don't go into a rebuild. Dallas moving Everson Griffen and the Amari Cooper rumor, and it looks like Dallas now is starting to figure out we're bad. This is a great place for the Cowboys. So I always do a Super Bowl bubble, and these are the 8 teams this morning that I feel are in the Super Bowl bubble. Green Bay, Seattle, Tampa, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Tennessee, Baltimore, and the Rams, with the Niners and the Saints close. Now you say, why the Rams? Well, let's be honest. They're a bad call from right now 7-1, or is it 6-1 or 7-1, that bad call in Buffalo. And by the way, the Bears are a very good football team. They pushed them all over the field. And there's something in the water in Los Angeles. All we do is win championships. I think the Niners on any given day are better than the Rams. They proved it 2 weeks ago, but they are falling apart physically, so I put them outside. And the Saints, same. I worry about Michael Thomas, the situation there. But I want to introduce a second bubble. I'm going to call it Colin's Rebuilding Rubble. And I believe these are the 8 rebuilding teams in the NFL. Washington, Miami, Jets, Giants, Bengals. Atlanta is, they just fired everybody in the front office, the Jags and the Dallas Cowboys. And Atlanta, with Matt Ryan, won't feel like one, but where don't they need help? And that's what I'll say about Dallas. Outside of wide receiver, where they have so many good players, they could actually trade one. And then running back, where they don't have the depth to trade anybody, but they've got 2 guys I really like. Where don't they need help? They need a more dynamic tight end. Both offensive and defensive lines need to be rebuilt. The secondary needs to be rebuilt. They could use another linebacker. So I think Dallas is in the bottom 8. Now, Atlanta and Dallas may not feel like rebuilds. Some people would say Detroit. But Detroit's got a veteran quarterback. They're 3-3. The wild card is wide open in that division, and they're making moves to bring players in. So they feel they're close. They feel they're close. And I think that's kind of where we are this morning. So I want to bring up this as well, that the Patriots are 2-4 right now. And a question has been asked, are they buyers and sellers at the trading deadline? This is very interesting. Are they buyers and sellers? Now, you know my position has been they had 8 players opt out. They didn't re-sign free agents. I said, I think they want one of these 3 young quarterbacks. They're not tanking because nobody does that in the NFL, even Jacksonville. What they're doing is restructuring. Bill Belichick says, take care of your family. It's about family, opt out. Now there's trade discussions on Stephon Gilmore, their best player. They're not giving Cam any weapons, their second best player. So take a look at the top 11 picks. This article says, are they buyers or sellers? So let's eliminate the teams that I don't think will take a quarterback. The New York Giants are not going to take a quarterback. They're not going to trade Daniel Jones for Justin Fields. And they're too good to end up number 1. Atlanta, Miami with Tua, Cincinnati, Dallas, Dak, and the Chargers. So those teams. So here's what is left. The Jets, the Jags, the Vikings, Washington, and New England for those top 3 quarterbacks. So let's just give the Jets Trevor Lawrence. They're awful. I don't see wins on their schedule. They get Trevor Lawrence. That means 2 elite quarterbacks left. If you look, Washington believes this morning it can win a division. That locker room is all in. They'll get a player, not trade one. And I think Minnesota is still way too talented to not win another 3 to 4 games. If you look at the Patriots' schedule, it is shockingly difficult. I believe they'll beat the Jets twice, making them a 4-win team. At Buffalo, Baltimore, at Houston, Arizona, at the Chargers, at the Rams, at Miami, Buffalo. Trade Stephon Gilmore. Move out Elliman. They lose all those games. New England is what I believe the opt-outs, the not signing free agents, letting guys go. I believe it's all part of a very subtle Belichickian reboot. You look at their schedule, the Chargers, Herbert's way better than we thought. Miami, way better than we thought. Houston's not as good, but they're a lot better than New England. So I look at this, people asking, are they buyers or sellers? I think New England's going to be a seller. I believe they started the season knowing they're a seller. When I see Stephon Gilmore, and I'm not saying it's not the right thing. I think it is. The free agent market's going to be what for quarterbacks? Re-signing Cam? Well, what is it going to be? Jimmy Garoppolo in a trade?